Yes, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to LinkedIn Live. This is my first LinkedIn Live, so if you are here, please give me a comment. Let me show comments. Please give me a comment so I can see if you are here. I can't see anyone, so it would be great to see that you're here. One second. There we go. That should be fine. But yes, welcome. Mom, are you in? I'm joking. My mom could absolutely never be in here because our most difficult conversations are getting her back from AV to terrestrial TV. So there's no way she'd ever find her way into a LinkedIn Live. Please let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I see a LinkedIn user. I'm not sure who that is. Please let me know who you are. It could be something on the settings that shows you a LinkedIn user and doesn't show your name. Hey Kiara, how's it going? Nice to see you. Why is it not showing your comments? Oh, I think there we go. Okay, so I can see there. So yeah, please give me your name. Tell me if you can hear me. Earlier this morning, the Wi-Fi was giving me a few issues, so I'm hoping that everyone can hear me and that I'm not getting stuck like a robot. I'm not going to take too much of your time today. It's just a session to show you and tell you what the webinar is going to be about on the 25th of January. So yes, it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes to take you guys through all of that. Thanks for the notification that you can hear me. Great. That is fantastic. And I don't know if the captions are working. But Malu, nice to see you. Nice to hear you. Yes, I hope the comments are there or the captions are there. Anyway, so the questions, if there are any questions, please put them in the comments. I will look at the questions at the end of the session for us, so we can go through those. But yes, this session, let's get started. This session is about the webinar on the 25th of January called Be the Leader They Love. Now, this is for new or tenured leaders. Please note, I use the word tenured and not old. It's for tenured, it's for new and tenured leaders. Even leaders, morning Nick, even leaders who have been in the game for many, many years still need to make sure that those foundations are in place and are solid. So that's what we're here today to talk about. So don't let the name fool you. Be the leader they love does not mean you're the leader who makes cookies on Wednesdays and is a massive people pleaser and loves to make lunch on Fridays. No, sir. Team members love leaders who are in control, who are confident, who are not scared to make decisions. They're fearless. They can handle situations. Team members love leaders who challenge them and develop them. And for a leader to do that, you need to get insights into your team, which means you need to spend time with them, get to know them, be curious about them. Team members love leaders who motivate them, who allow them to be themselves, make it a safe space, and also care for them. So with my program, I help leaders become that person they love. Why so, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Looking at a triangle, 3 tiers on a triangle, the webinar on the 25th is going to focus on the bottom tier, and that is the foundations of great leadership. I'll show you the triangle in a short while on a nifty presentation. So we're going to focus on the foundations. Once we focus on the foundations, making sure the basics are in place and everything has been done world class, then we can move on to the team and the relationship and the leader who creates that environment for people to get excited, for people to be challenged. You know, if I find joy and satisfaction in what I do because the leader has created this environment for me, then I will look forward to doing what I do, and naturally I will excel at it too. And then after we've done that, we move on to the next tier, which is the leader themselves. And we focus on personal development that never ever ends, and just leaders reaching new levels of greatness. So leadership is a very complex position, right? We all have many spinning plates, and we never actually have time to do what it says on our tin, which is lead, right? So what inevitably happens is, I remember back in the early 2000s, as a leadership group, we had to prepare an 80-page PowerPoint document. I don't know if any of you have ever done this before, but an 80-page PowerPoint document for every single Friday. It was soul destroying, and it took us away from actually spending time with our teams. It was very, very counterproductive. And that often happens as a leader. You got all these spinning plates, and you're having reports to do, updates to do. But with the right foundations in place, once that's in place, you can have more time to escape, to strategize, and to do these other kinds of things. But the foundations are so important. As leaders, we know that we can change lives. We have the opportunity to change lives. Good leaders or great leaders they create more leaders. Good leaders inspire people to be better. So why not spend more time doing the leadership stuff? Now, according to Lifehack, wait, let me tell you this first. Let me just imagine this. That is a massive PowerPoint presentation, 80 pages. I think eventually, after about 6 or 7 months, we just had the same report from the last week. We never filled it in anymore because no one ever looked at it. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day. So please imagine this for a second, if you will. You can close your eyes. I can't see if you're closing your eyes. But as a leader, imagine this ideal situation, right? Imagine that you're always in control. You are never flustered by any situation because you know exactly what to do and how to handle a situation. Your team members skip to work because they absolutely love spending time with you and the team because they learn and they're challenged. They are engaged, they're passionate. They're never, ever on social media. There's no gossip. There's no politics. You get 10 times the return on every single staff member from your team that you pay for them or that you invest in them. And they're passionate and they're engaged and they're dynamic and they're successful. And get this, imagine this, right? On a Sunday night, they look forward to Monday morning to spending that time with you and the team. Now, this sounds crazy, but it's not. It is totally, totally possible, but it requires a leader to light that flame. Yep, it starts with leaders. So let me show you a presentation. I'm going to add it to my stream. Let me see if I can move myself out the way. There we go. Well done, Claire. It's interesting. I'm going quite well with the tech stuff. So according to Lifehack, there's an article that was released at the end of 2022. These are the top 10 biggest challenges leaders face. Difficult people. We've all had a disruptor or a difficult person in our midst. We used to call them mechanics because they always threw spanners in the works. Then there's pressure. Letting someone go. This is absolutely not easy, no matter who it is. It's never easy to let anybody go. Delivering bad news. Who wants to deliver bad news? But as a leader, we wear that hat, and it's our job, right? So we have to deliver bad news. Staying motivated. Leadership can be a very lonely place. You think you've got friends until the times get tough, and then you don't have friends. So having solid foundations makes sure that even if it's tough times, you're going to have some friends. Culture issues, that could happen in your team, or it could be a wider business culture issue. Sometimes you'll find that within big companies, there are teams who are really dynamic because of the leader, but then they don't really talk to the greater culture. Or if it's a business, there's just a disconnect between the business owner and the team. Maintaining focus, communication problems. Whoa, communication problems can cause massive, massive issues. I mean, even the slightest misunderstanding can cause a massive problem. And then handling a dud. According to Lifehack, this is for a project and not a person. So you do get people that are, I won't call them duds, but you do get people who quite quit. You know, that's the new thing that happened in 2022, 2021. I don't think it's a new thing, but it was named. We named it quite quitting. Also a major challenge for leaders. So these are the challenges. And would you believe me if I told you that with the foundations of leadership in place, every single one of these challenges, they won't disappear because unfortunately they'll always be around, but they will be made a lot easier with a solid foundation. Even conflict, that old chestnut, that ugly cousin, even conflict will be made a lot easier with the foundations and the right foundations in place. So let's move on to those foundations. This is the triangle I spoke about earlier. So we start with the foundations. Again, we're focusing on the foundations on the 25th of January. in the webinar. We'll be going through how we do that. And then the next steps are the next two tiers are the team and that relationship I spoke about earlier. And then also eventually the leader. It's almost like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? Once everything is in place, you can focus on yourself or focus on yourself and the personal development. By that time, you'll be rocking with everything else in place. Right. So what I'll be covering in the foundations of leadership, there are 7 steps. Those are the 7 steps to build solid foundations. And I'll be going through each one of these in the webinar. So the first thing we need to do is intentions. I'm going to help you make your intentions super clear to the team. They need to know they feel safe, that they are safe. They need to know that you're there for the right reasons and you're not just there for yourself. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Inclusion, we are going to make sure that the team has buy-in and believe in the plan. Value, I'm going to show you how you get the best out of staff members and team members by valuing them. We're going to talk about belonging and how in every interaction, every single day, in every moment, you can use belonging to make people feel part of something bigger than themselves. Motivation, I'm going to share motivation methods that once you've lit that flame with motivation, you can sit back and watch the fireworks. We're going to talk about relationships and how we cement relationships with individuals and the team. And then finally, the last of the 7 steps is we're going to establish the trust through everything we've done. And once we've got that trust, how are we going to maintain it? And I'm going to show you how to do that. So that, folks, is the webinar on the 25th. Before I go to some details of the webinar, I wanted to share a story with you. If you know me, you might have heard the story before. I tell it a lot. It's not my story. I actually got it from the book called The Culture Code from Dan Coyle. But why I share this story is because it's perfect example of the foundations being solid for a leader. So there is this basketball coach in America called Greg Popovich. He is the coach of the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I'm a South African. Not many of us watch basketball. There are those who do, but we are rugby people. So I didn't know about Greg Popovich until I read Dan Coyle's book. But anyway, Greg Popovich is the coach of the San Antonio Spurs and widely regarded as one of the greatest coaches of all time. Why is he a good example of coaching? In 2013, a journalist by the name of Neil Payne did a research, and he wanted to establish who was the greatest NBA coach of the modern era between 1979 and 2013. What he did is he created an algorithm looking at players' skills and which games, according to the players you have, should you be winning and should you be losing? And which games should you not be winning because your players are not that great? Now, what he found was that most teams won the games they should be winning and they lost the games they should be losing because of the players they had, except the San Antonio Spurs. They were head and shoulders above the rest. If I remember correctly, it's 117 games they won that they never should have won. In fact, Greg Popovich won 5 NBA championships with a team that were not as good as the other teams. So how did he do that? Another example is in the playoff season. I never knew this, but in the playoff season in basketball, players are incentivized for every basket they get. In 2014, they were paid $24,000 a basket. So which means when you pass the ball to a friend, you're literally throwing away $24,000. It incentivizes selfishness, right? So every team from regular season to playoff season would pass less, because they get paid for it, right, in playoff season, except the San Antonio Spurs. They still passed. So they were playing for something bigger than themselves. There was not personal glory in a game that almost forces you to go for personal glory. So how did Greg Popovich do this? Because his foundations were in place. When Neil Payne, the journalist, spent time with the San Antonio Spurs, he asked one of the San Antonio Spurs coaching staff to describe Greg Popovich. And he said, he'll tell you the truth with no bullshit, and he will love you to death. One of my favorite quotes. So what he does is he establishes the intention. He tells everybody what the intentions are. He includes everyone in the plan. Everyone knows exactly what's expected of them, and he spends time on the individual. Even in feedback, he will give them belonging signals so that they know they're part of something great and that he has very high expectations of them. So Greg Popovich, if you ever had the chance, go and read Dan Coyle's The Culture Code or read up about Greg Popovich. He is an incredible leader that gets incredible results with back then, a not so great team. So because he had all of these foundations in place. And people in a very selfish game were playing for something bigger than themselves. Right. Moving on. So this is going to be the webinar pamphlet that I sent out on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. I'll be doing this again next week. But if you are interested in the webinar today, for the first 10 people, you can get a 50% discount, which is an absolute bargain, by using the promo code LEADER50. It's a 90-minute jam-packed session on the 25th of January at 1 o'clock UK time. LEADER50 will get you a 50% discount. There are only 10 of those available. And then if you want to find out where you can get the link, oh dear, let me take away the comments, 1 second. So on my profile, that's me, same top. I do have other clothes, promise. But yeah, you can find the link to be the leader they love, and it will take you to the Eventbrite page where you can go and book yourself in for the 25th of January. That's me, guys. Are there any questions with regards to the foundations and what's expected from this this webinar and what you can learn? I'll give a few seconds for any questions. Okay, if there are no questions, then it's been 17 minutes, a little bit over what I said it was going to be. But I want to say thank you very, very much for absolutely everyone being here. And yes, have a really good afternoon. Hope to see you at the webinar, and look out for more communication with regards to it. And yeah, see you then. Thanks very much. Have a good time. Bye, everybody. Bye. Thank you. Thanks very much for the comment. Appreciate it. Cheers. Sorry, we're getting some more comments here. Let me, I don't want to, love the story of Greg Popovich. Absolutely love that story. It's such a great example. I love that saying. I would love to be that leader who tells you the truth, no bullshit, but loves you to death at the same time. Oh, thanks, Maria. Thank you very much. Guys, Maria is an incredible leadership coach as well. Please look her up on LinkedIn, connect with her. Great content, lessons learned every single day. Thank you very much for the brilliant, as always. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is the first LinkedIn Live I've done. I was very petrified about the Wi-Fi speed. Everything in the house is off. In fact, my wife is off everything. Even the dogs, they're not in the iPads. So yeah. Cool. I think that might be all the comments. Excellent. Guys, that is it then. I'm signing off. Have an incredible afternoon or incredible day. I hope your week's been good, and hope to see you at the webinar. Fingers crossed you'll get there in time and get the discount. Great. See you guys. Bye-bye.